Hi, everyone. This is Travis.
And this is Jonathan.
And we'd both love to welcome you to the 100 Ways to Love a Cat podcast.
That's the podcast that eventually plays the song 100 Ways to Love a Cat.
And this is one of many, many uses for this song, 100 Ways to Love a Cat. It inspires you. It passes the time. Some people like it for that. But today, I think when we play it, which is coming up, it's all 35 minutes will be coming up before you know it, if you're waiting for that. But today, I think we're playing it in a celebratory sense. It's a song of victory, of triumph, of like I said, you can use this song for so many different things. But
you could even use it if things go poorly in your life.
Sure, and hopefully it'll make you feel better, not worse.
But for us, things are going great. So
right
I hope
now,
you're not feeling terrible because we're on top of the world. We'd hate to make you feel worse, but I don't know what to do or say.
I don't know. Hopefully it'll make you feel better, but be happy for someone else.
If you've been listening to this podcast for the last 3 episodes, then you know that Travis and I are moving in together, and we're going to have a podcast nook. We've lived together before. We're old friends, but that's not why we're celebrating.
No, that's not it.
We managed to get our hands on the historic, probable old sailor's latrine right there, overlooking the water, surrounded by the sea coyotes and the shrieking, pecking, squawking birds.
They're not seagulls. They're not. If they are, they're the stranger. They're not. Well, the professor, he told us.
That's not why we're celebrating either. Then we found probably a treasure map. That's not why we're celebrating. Nope. We made a new friend, Professor Ricotta Manchatter.
Which is worth celebrating, but that's still
not why we're celebrating. No. Did we find the treasure? Nope, that's not why we're celebrating either. We found more maps.
2,300.
That's why we're celebrating.
That is, can you imagine finding that? All of these maps were wrapped around these planks. We pulled up the tile.
These sodden old planks, just full of where sailors would rush off the boat to go to the bathroom.
As soon as they hit dry land.
What a service our home provided.
First time setting foot on dry land, going to the restroom.
Still a little wobbly.
Sure.
Oh, I've been on the water for so long, being attacked by sea coyotes and birds and twigs, poison-tipped twigs, and they rush into the latrine and just wherever it went is where it went. That's our home. And we're so proud of it.
Absolutely.
And our friend, Professor Ricotta Manchatter, who's a professor of treasure maps over at Sea Coyote Community College, just what a very handy, very angry, knows so many limericks. What a nerd. What a brilliant mind.
Yes.
And he has helped us find all these maps. And he says every map is like a treasure itself.
But we don't think that there are 2,300 treasures. We still seem to think, taking the advice from, of course, Professor Ricotta Manchatter, it seems as if they're all connected in some way, like you put them together almost like a puzzle, or
right,
like what was that movie Memento, where there were words on him and he had to put the puzzle together. You
had to find the right person to read them,
to understand them and to get to his treasure.
We have that person, and his name is Professor Ricotta Manchatter. We're so happy that he's living in our home. He went ahead and just took a corner and just kind of turned it into his little, I'd call it a man cave almost, a little slice of heaven where he can write his limericks and give himself a massage and just sort of kick back and fry up some bacon. He brought in a hot plate, and all he eats is that really good, expensive bacon, which is
stuff.
I don't know where he's getting his money, but
the smell just over to when he's cooking, like, oh man, yeah. Best bacon. Spare no expense when it comes to the bacon.
And he'll just eat that bacon and pour over these maps and say, guys, I don't know.
Looks like something. That's his saying. Like when he found, this looks like something, guys. That's Professor Ricotta Manchatter right there.
Cannot wait. He says it's got a he's got to get his mind around it. I got to get my mind around all these maps. Every day, he's like, I can't, what the heck? Just map after map, and plank after plank. And now inside, other than where he is mostly just a hole in the ground. And there's a pile of historic things we've pulled up and taken maps off of. When we get it all put back together, it's just gonna be such a historic and
I can't wait to share it with the community.
It's gonna be great to have a place to live that's not just our cars.
That's the most
backed up
important thing.
next to each other.
Sure.
And also running these tours But, first things first, let's figure out where this treasure is. Where
boy, could we use it. We really could. We don't know. Again, we don't know that there is definitely a treasure in the sense of wealth or, anything that anybody wants. It could all
be a terrible...
He said it's like ceramic pottery.
He's like 98% sure it's like some sort of old pots that maybe... He also said subpar museum might
ceramic
give you a few bucks for
pebbles, which I didn't understand. I said, "Why would?" Certain goes, "Well, some places didn't have actual pebbles, and they would make the ceramic pebbles." And it was a fascinating story. I can't get into it here because I'm not going to do it justice. But he said it could be a lot of that, which is, of course, not worth anything, but a good story.
And he said, "We can't even." I said, "Well, let's get our shovels after like." 1,600 maps. I said, let's get our shovels.
Time to go, yeah. He said, not yet.
Metal detectors, like for the beach. And
he said, trust me, guys, bear with me. We're not even scratching the surface. But it does appear that Professor Ricotta Manchetter thinks that as far as the maps are going, this is it, the 2,300.
Okay,
now it's about,
good.
We're not digging up. Well, there are no more floorboards, really.
Yeah,
to
there's
dig
nothing
up
much more other than just like the
so
text
now
goes down far. Like, I guess they just where they knew a lot of people were going to come through here and they had to have a big hole big enough to hold it all, I guess. I don't know. Professor Manchetter knows. He knows more. He says, I'm not really, I don't know maritime history. I don't know sailor. I know limericks, I know bathroom humor, and I know maps.
Learned a lot. We've learned a lot. This has been an amazing learning experience for us both.
I cannot wait to see what the professor has. He's got all the maps sort of laid out all around the compound here, and we just got to go take a look and
give him his time. He's gonna focus and figure this out, and we'll see what happens. But until then, let's do what we came here to do. And again, in a total celebratory fashion, or what's the word I'm looking for? Just it's this triumphant. Again, if no treasure is ever to be found, it doesn't matter. I feel like I've been rewarded so much already just from this experience. So let's play 100 Ways to Love a Cat and just kind of savor this moment in life, shall we? There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 1, keep a tidy house for them, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 2, be sure to clip their claws, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 3, scoop their box daily, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 4, brush them with a hairbrush, 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways.
Don't squeeze their paws hard. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 6. Give them some fresh water. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 7. Let them have a fish. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 8. Buy them a scratching post. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 9. Put them in your lap. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 10. Be quiet when they're sleeping. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 11. Whisper, I love you. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 12. Rub their soft belly. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 13. Make sure their tail is clean. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 14. Give them a yarn ball. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 15. Make them a nice bed. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 16. Buy him some catnip. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 17. Play them some music. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 18. Get them a cute collar. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 19. Make sure they're vaccinated. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 20. Take their picture. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 21. Brush their teeth. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 22. Let them watch TV. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 23. Don't let them be outside by themselves. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 24. Feed them some cat food. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 25. Make sure their eyes are clean. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 26. Put a liner in their box. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 27. Give them a mat to wipe their feet on. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 28. Don't forget them on Christmas. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 29. Make sure they're spayed or neutered. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 30. Hold them like a baby. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 31. Let them have a towel or blanket. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 32. Keep your toilet lid down. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 33. Don't let them chew on power cords. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 34. Set them by the window. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 35. Cat-proof your home. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 36. change their litter weekly. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 37. Praise them lavishly. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 38. Never feed him chicken bones. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 39. Teach them a funny trick. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 40. Give them a toy mouse. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 41. Clean up their hairballs. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 42. Keep them away from candles. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 43. Give him a separate zone. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 44. Never play with them aggressively. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 45. Increase his cuddle time. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 46. Be sure to watch his weight. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 47. If you leave, turn on the radio. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 48. Scold him firmly but with kindness. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 49. Respond when he meows. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 50. Give them a thing of cat grass. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 51. scratch under his chin. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 52. Remind him that you love him. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 53. Give them a box to play in. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 54. If they're old, help them get down. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 55. Let them lick you with their rough tongue. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 56. Record precious memories. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 57. Dress them up in ribbons. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 58. Give them a flea treatment. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 59. Make a vet appointment. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 60. Give them a little wet food. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 61. When they scratch you, don't get angry. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 62. Give them some private time. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 63. Treat them with respect. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 64. When he grooms himself, say good job. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 65. Let them chase a laser pointer. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 66. clean out their ears. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 67. Never smoke around them. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 68. Buy a sturdy cat carrier. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 69. Listen to them purr. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 70. Tempted by temptations. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 71. Give them your full attention. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 72. Don't trap them in the laundry basket. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 73. Let them sleep in bed with you. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 74. Make sure they're not locked in the closet. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 75. Don't let them play in plastic bags. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 76. Give them a massage. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 77. Touch him as you pass by. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 78. If he's on the couch, don't be mad. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 79. If they hate fans, turn the fan off. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 80. When there's a bird outside, say, hey, look. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 81. Intrigue them with a funny sound. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 82. Don't forget sardine time. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 83. Let him play with your old socks. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 84. Stroke in the direction that his fur goes. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 85. Admire his long whiskers. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 86. Keep his box away from his food. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 87. Pretend that he's a piano. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 88. Don't interrupt them while they're eating. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 89. When they're scared, go and comfort them. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 90. Let him have a lick. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 91. If their breath stinks, give them greenies. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 92. Give him a ball with a bell in it. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 93. If it's hot, put ice in their bowl. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 94. Let him drink out of the sink. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 95. Don't vacuum if it scares him. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 96. Draw a picture of him. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 97. If you drop some food, it's theirs now. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 98. Read him a book. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 99. Feed him again. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 100. Just love them every day. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways.
Isn't life great, Jonathan?
It feels good.
It
There's
does.
a lot of uncertainty. I'm not going to deny that. There's a lot of, let's see what happens here. But the good parts are good. Definitely not going to be, not thinking, when we said it all out loud, I was like, oh yeah, the floor of the history house we have is gone.
Yeah.
And we don't have any money still, and the professor's unstable when it comes to anger, not to brilliance.
No. But when somebody's that brilliant, part of that is being mad. I mean, you're mad that you know so much. I think.
I guess, and sometimes when I'm in the limerick room, the dirty room, I call it, and I come out of there and I'm just cussing and just angry, and
You really shouldn't go in there as often. You really
and it gets into my skin, under my.
I don't go back there. I can't handle it. It's too much for me. I mean, I understand the historical importance of it.
Well,
I
I'm drawn to it. I'm drawn to it. In the
I'm
middle
repelled
of the night.
from it. That's too much for me.
I just feel it. I feel it calling me, almost like the old what's he call it? The pretty lady, the ghost of the water, which is an old pirate legend about the pretty ladies, the ghosts of the water, and the other men. The men and the women, the pretty men and women that would call to the sailors, like, come, and the sailors would jump overboard, and they'd say, that's what I want.
They would save the sailor. This is a legendary. I don't know if this is true.
And they
but
drown out there.
They would
but
drown.
Then every once in a while, one of them would come back and say, boys.
And even the ones that didn't jump over, they would use the restroom in their pants.
Whatever was happening out there, something happened. That's what the professor says. He said, I can't explain it. I'm not going to say that there were actual, like sexy ghosts singing to the
He's a professor.
sailors,
He doesn't.
But something caused all those people to either jump to their dooms or go to the bathroom in their pants because they couldn't hold it any longer. And they were just right there at the latrine. They were just tying up the boats.
Almost there.
And they would just jump right over. It was the sexy men and women ghosts of the Sea Coyote Cliffs, and they would just drown. Or then a couple would come back and said, "Yeah, I did it. I saw them, and we kissed. We did all of it." And then they'd write those limericks down, and they'd draw pictures and funny cartoons. And they said, "I'm going to go to this latrine." Just really disgusting behavior. And I just sometimes I feel like I'm being drawn into the dirty room, just like one of those sexy ghosts.
It's just too disturbing for me. I can't handle it. Maybe you shouldn't go in there. Try to fight the urge and see.
I can now, and because the floor is gone, I just kind of have to sort of crawl around the edge of the room on the little stubby sodden floorboards that are left.
It's difficult right now, but it's temporary. We're going to have.
They're just jump. Sometimes it's what the poems and the limericks say. Just jump.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't.
Just jump into the filth, they say.
Yeah, maybe not so much if you just,
But I wish sometimes, and this is stupid. I know it's so stupid. It's just so stupid, but I sometimes wish, why did we just not throw that map into the garbage or the fire?
The first one?
Or the water even.
The first one?
Yeah, the first map that we found.
Right when it started before. Well, we wouldn't have learned so much. We wouldn't have discovered all this. We wouldn't have known that there were 2,300 maps in all.
I know, you're right.
So I look at it as a learning experience, and there's so much in the world that we know so very little about. All of us. We just don't. Sure, you can go to school, and sure, you can take courses and read books, but you're never going to know it all. You can't, unless you really focus and become a professor, like Professor Ricotta Manchetter. And we thank him so much for being a part of our lives and bringing us so much more information, probably more than we needed when it comes to some of the limericks and the back room. But history is history. You can't turn it off.
No, you can't. I wish you could.
Yes, definitely. I mean, you should try,
but you can't. Everybody always says that, so just keep it going, I guess.
Right. Not much we can do about it. Well, I hope you can come back next week and join us. We will be here to play all 35 minutes of 100 Ways to Love a Cat once again.
And to celebrate another victory, I'm sure we'll have even a small one.
Who knows?
Maybe it's just, we made it another week.